There's been a trend lately with endurance sports coaches, content creators, and personalities that outright ticks me off because it's telling athletes what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. A lot of people in endurance sports have been pushing the fact that the bulk of training needs to be done at a low intensity. This is great, I'm one of those people. But what's been happening is that low heart rate running is really hard to do, so some people have been saying that low intensity training should be done by pace and not heart rate. And this is what ticks me off because it just makes no sense. And this past weekend, it contributed to an athlete who's very close to me stopping towards the end of their goal race a number of times, then passing out at the finish line, and then throwing up in the med tent. Spreading these training methods needs to stop, and we're going to help stop it now. What's up, motivators? My name is Taryn. When ordinary people want to accomplish something extraordinary in endurance sports, they choose unlimited motive training plans for as low as $14.99 a month. You're ready to take on that big challenge? Let's do it. Our training plans use a pyramidal training distribution where 70 to 80% of training hours are spent at a low intensity, 10 to 15% is spent at a moderate intensity, and then 10 to 15% is at a really high intensity. This is what's been proven in studies to be the very best way to achieve good performance while maintaining our overall health. In our training app, our low intensity workouts will look like this in both bike and run workouts, where the workouts are guided by heart rate. And there's a specific reason that we use heart rate and not pace on the run or power on the bike. It's because heart rate guides you into the right effort no matter the conditions. You see, a good training plan will have us spending the right amount of time training in the right intensity at the right time of year. Using heart rate to guide low intensity running makes sure that this will happen, while running by pace can easily mess it up. Coaches who use pace for their low intensity running say that heart rate changes too much day to day to be reliable. And I say, yes, that's the point. Heart rate adjusts to get you into the right training intensity based on your physiology and what you can handle each and every day. Have a bad sleep? Your heart rate will be higher and your pace will be slower, giving you a lighter workout to account for the bad sleep. Weather is hot outside, your heart rate will again be higher and your pace will be slower, making sure that you don't overcook yourself. Travel the day before your run, your heart rate will be higher, your pace will be slower, giving you an easier workout to let you balance the physical stress of travel with training. Your heart rate will be lower, your pace will be faster, allowing you to run faster and get a more significant workout because you can handle it. Running on a downhill, your heart rate will be lower and your pace will be faster, again allowing you to have a better workout than if you had just used pace. What the running pace proponents say is that we need to run by a consistent pace because these heart rate variations are bad. But we're not machines and our bodies change every single day. Now I get it, it's hard to run with a low heart rate. But here's what happens when people run by pace. When it gets hot out, athletes who run by pace will have a higher heart rate, getting out of the training zone that they need to be in. Do this run after run after run, and all of a sudden you will have a huge amount of accumulated fatigue that you are bringing into your race, leading to a likely bad outcome in the race. This is what happened to our friend that I mentioned at the start of the video. If athletes who run by pace start including trails or hills into their runs, they'll have a higher heart rate, again, getting out of the training zone that they need to be in. If athletes are starting to get fatigued or sick, they'll keep training at the same pace, but with a higher heart rate and more stress, again, getting out of the training zone that they need to be in. What happens is that the athletes who train by pace for their low intensity work are training blindly, using some arbitrary number that was calculated weeks or even months earlier, and that number has no relevance on what their body is ready or not ready to achieve each and every workout. Heart rate makes sure that you're training at what your body can handle every single day. Now, people who really follow endurance sports might say, but I don't hear pros ever fussing about training at a low heart rate. And the people who say that would be right. Elite athletes rarely worry about being in the wrong intensity. But what happens when endurance athletes get really fit, like world-class pro-level fit, is they develop the ability to flush lactic acid so quickly that building up lactic acid and too much training stress isn't nearly as much of an issue as it is for us age groupers. So a lot of the people who are promoting training by pace instead of heart rate are taking things that apply to pros, then saying that those training methods apply to everyone, which just isn't the case. My training needs to be based around me and not what pros do. I get it. When we start running using a low heart rate, it sucks. And that difficulty is why these coaches are getting attention, because they say that we can forget about that low heart rate and use pace, because they're saying what people want to hear and not what they need to hear. But here's the thing, when you stick with running at a low heart rate and keep your training intensity in the right spot, you keep your training stress levels in check, allowing you to make progress for years so that you can get faster year after year after year. We have athletes in our app who are faster in their 60s than they were in their 40s because they just kept taking steps forward while avoiding any major steps back. Training by pace ignores all those things like heat, hills, wind, your readiness, and can lead to major steps back where athletes are just spinning their wheels, never making any progress. So, whether you're following the workouts in our training app or doing your own training, you should do your long endurance building workouts like these runs and rides on the screen by heart rate, keeping your heart rate in zones 1 or 2. Recovery rides and runs should also be done at a low intensity, zones 1 and 2, dictated by heart rate. And try to keep 70 to 80% of your total training time in that low heart rate zone. You're ready to take on that next big challenge, and when you train with Motive, you'll be ready on race day. Check out Motive, that is the only training app in the world with training plans designed specifically for ordinary people who want to accomplish something extraordinary in endurance sports. Check it out and try it for free. Finally, click the video on the screen. As I've mentioned, low heart rate running is the foundation that will set you up for all training success. But it's really hard for people to do well. The video on the screen will give you the system that we recommend to do these low heart rate runs correctly and without much difficulty. Later, motivators.